Hello, welcome to my bench. Hey, I haven't put out very many videos recently. It's been really busy on the bench here. I mean, just all kinds of repairs to do, but I'm not complaining, mind you. It's great. I love it, but it's all been stuff that you've already seen before. Lots of 528Es and other pieces of gear that I've already put up on the videos, and it's just not all that fun to watch. Same old thing over and over again. But that's why I haven't put many videos up, because it's been so busy doing that stuff, making the mortgage. But also I wanted to announce that I have put up a website. It hasn't got a whole lot on it right now. It's few little quick things that I put up with just pictures about how I've done stuff, and some hints and tips and mistakes, stuff like that. So if you want to go, it's aervblog.com, and it allows for comments. So go ahead and comment on there if you want to, or suggestions or whatever. And I'll build the thing up a little more over the the coming months, or whatever I can think to put up on the thing. It does not have a discussion board yet. I'm still thinking about how to get that done, but you can comment on the articles that I write. But today we got the continuing saga of the Icom IC-718 with the slightly burnt power supply, or PA board. Here it is. Now, if you look back on some of my other videos, you'll see that I started off trying to cut this out and do whatever I could to it, but it's just it's conductive. It's conductive all the way back to here. It's just awful, and that is the RF output. So anything that RF will go wherever it can, and I'm sure that this would not work, and putting a new piece in here would not get it. So I did that. I gave up. Then I did this little board, which it does work. It actually does work. It's a little $40 180 watt PA that I bought off of eBay, and the thing works, but it takes a good 10 watts to drive it. But you know what I'm thinking? I've got a 6-meter transverter, 2-meter to 6-meter transverter, and I'll bet you this thing would work on that. I think. I don't know. We'll have to play around with that and see if it works. Not that there's much on 6 meters to talk to, but it's just a hobby. And this is the little 3-watt, 100 milliwatt in, 3-watt out amplifier that I got to drive this. It's not enough. I only get about 12 watts out of this with this thing in it. So that didn't work, but it was fun to build. And I also went through, if you saw one of my talking tips, trying to draw up a schematic for this thing, or a board layout for this thing with a new piece of software that I got, and I worked on that for days. And every time I look at it, I find more mistakes. It's like silly. I built a little board here just for testing ICs. Send it off to get it done. It's just a little. It's for testing op amps, singles with compensation, and duals over here. And I drew this thing up in the same software I did the other board in for this, and I actually made 2 mistakes on this one. I did not connect this and this, and I did not connect that and that. So, and there, 3 mistakes actually. So it's very easy to make mistakes. So I don't know how many I'd have had with hundreds of parts on a board, but I'll keep working on that little project just for the fun of it and see if I can come up with an actual board, send it off and have it come back and see how it looks, and maybe even transfer all the parts from that other board over there and put them on and see if I can come up with a board, and who knows, it might work. I know it would definitely be the only one out there, for sure. But, so anyway, this is the Saga, and here's what we've got. Ta-da! After a year of a request in on eBay to email me if one came up, one came up. This is the PA board, original, same number and everything for the Icom IC-718. Now, it wasn't cheap. It was $250, but this radio was given to me because of the condition that it was in, and I figure if I put that kind of money into it, if this thing works, that's great. That is just wonderful. If it doesn't, at least I got a board that I can fix without replacing this whole chunk over here. You know? I still don't understand why or how. I don't even understand how that happened, but we're not going to go there. So everything was here and everything was good, so we're going to take a look at this thing and see what we can do. See if this board works. The fuse is good. Already checked it. That noise you hear in the background, by the way, is my 60 amp power supply fan running. That is one noisy fan. Sorry about that, but anyhow, we're going to get into seeing if we can make this thing work. So, what we're going to do is follow the manual. The very first thing we need to do on this is to set the idle current. You don't even want to try it without setting the idle current, because this and that, these two, are not cheap. They are expensive transistors. You do not want to blow those up. Trust me. Anyway, so if we take a look at the manual, here it is. Let's make that a little bit bigger so that we can read it at this point. This is for setting your idling current. It says that you want to set the display frequency at 14.1, but first we have to disconnect, what is that, J3601, which of course is on the other side. So let's flip it over. Take off the bottom. One thing I really like about this radio is the speakers in the front. If you're driving in a car, it's nice having the speaker in the front. Anyway, so J3601, I believe, is this one. Yep, that's it. This is the the controller for the power output for the preamp, I think. Not sure. What does it say? It doesn't. No, it doesn't say what it is, but it has to do with maintaining the idle current. So, oh, that's another thing. This thing came with this, with this neat little board in here. This is the digital signal processor for, nice. It has a automatic notch filter in it and noise reduction filter in it, and they're pretty nice. I've seen them in other radios. So anyhow, all right, so that's disconnected, and now, okay, you didn't see any of that. Sorry about that. Yeah, what I was talking about was this guy back here, digital signal processor board. They ain't cheap. They're like $150 on eBay at this point, so that's cool. I got that with it. That's for receive, of course. All right. Got a little wire thing here wired up with a switch going into it. So what it says is set the display. We'll plug it back up and turn it on. All right. So we got the display set at 14,100. Which, is that what it says it wants? Yeah, 14,100. All right, so let's bring the manual back up and shrink this down a little bit so we can see what's going on. And it says to turn that off. It says to turn the RF power to minimum. Okay, which you hold the set button down for a second. Took me a long time going through these menus to figure out what's what, folks. This thing is a complicated little radio. RF power down to low. Okay. Mic level 0. Okay. We disconnected our 3601 in the back. And we want to turn it off and preset these two. This one over here is R24 counterclockwise, R21 full counterclockwise, and okay. And it says to connect an ammeter with 3 amp ammeter. Well, I don't have. I'm going to use my inline, or not inline, ammeter, which is right here. Okay. What are we on? We on AC. The one thing I don't like about this thing is it comes up in AC mode. So we need to zero you out. And you have to make sure that you're on it. Okay. All right. So the ammeter says we're drawing, not even turned on, about 32 milliamps. So we'll turn this on. And we're drawing about 816 mils. 830, somewhere around there. And according to the manual, you want to turn R21 while transmitting in the current state with no power and no mic level. You want to turn it so that it increases by 200 mils, and that's R21. Okay. So we'll do R21. Let's watch the meter. Well, let's transmit first. Okay, it's drawing 1.1 amp. 1.1, so we need 1.34 approximately. Very slowly rotate this guy up because it gets to a point. These are very touchy in these, if I remember correctly. 1 point. Oop, just a tiny bit past. Boy, the difference is like an 84th of a turn. We're going to leave it right there, 1.36. Okay, So our original was 1.14. We go up to 1.34, which is plus 200 mils. And then it says we turn R24 to where it increases by 400 mils. So we're at 1.3, so it means we need 1.76 on R24, which is right here. Slowly. Should be pretty close to center if they did it right. We're not actually putting out any power here at all. So it's not like it's holding down the key and killing this thing. 1.758. Alright, we got it. So, we're good on there. Fantastic. Now I'm not afraid to try to transmit on this thing. Alright, what's next? So, let me go and reposition the manual, and we'll come back here in a minute, and we'll do the rest of the quick setup on this thing. Okay, we're back. Well, first of all, let's turn off that meter, and we'll just go with this manual up here. This is the portion of the manual where you do the set mode adjustments. And since it was just the transmit section that I replaced in this, I'm going to just go with that to start with and see what we can come up with. It says to enter this mode, you turn it off, you terminate the remote jack. The remote jack's back here in the back. Basically, you short it out, and you turn it on while holding down, which is mode and TS, which are in the front here, these two. So we'll turn on, hold down mode and TS, and turn it on, and it says RX, just like it says it's supposed to. Alright, get some wires out from underneath everywhere. Okay. Oh, wait. We got to put our cable back on back here. I forgot about that almost. Okay. There we go. Alright, so it's back on. Okay. So, mode and TS. And turn it on. And we're in RX. We're going to skip this section up here because the receive actually is very good on this radio. It's excellent. So we hit up. Now we're in TX for transmit section. And we'll go down here in the radio for transmitter. Alright. Pushing. Okay, connect an RF power meter to the antenna connector, dummy load, and on my Motorola here, and go to set. It's a little out of order here, it appears, because it says their first thing you're going to see is fill cal. Well, we don't see fill cal. We see this one, which is third in line. So let's do what they say for the fill cal first. Alright, so up. There's fill cal. Alright, filter calibration. Connect an RF. Set the set key to make the calibration. Well, that's pretty easy. We'll hit the set key, and this thing... What does it say to put it in any kind of power? Well, I'm going to put it on 50%. It doesn't... Oh, it does it by itself. It went up about 36 watts. And that was my radio in the background that I'm listening to, if you heard that. So we don't have to mess with the power output. Okay. So that one's done. And That's all it says. Okay. All right, next we go to power 90 watts. All right. I have my function generator hooked up here. Let's move this thing over here so we can see it and leave this over here where we can see it. Okay. Got the function generator set up as a sine wave, 1500 hertz, which 1.5 kilohertz and 30 millivolts RMS. That would be approximately 84 millivolts peak to peak, giving it about 80 millivolts of audio into the mic input. Man, that's a lot. Okay, so we key it, we push the button, key it down, and turn the knob until we get approximately 90 watts. How about 87 is about the max I can get out of it with my power supply. Hit the button again and crank her down to 50 watts. Close enough. Hit the button again and crank her down to 10 watts. There we go. And hit the button again. All right. Well, we'll see when we go back through it. Ought to be interesting. All right. So the Alc meter, same deal here, 30 millivolts. So we go to AM, that one that was first instead of last. Okay, there we are. We hit the what does it say? It says push set key to set ALC reference level. Transmitter will automatically transmit. Push the up key. Okay. So we hit this. It did what it said. Then we push the up key to do SWR set. All right. This thing says that it wants, where is it? 50 ohm dummy load, transmit using external push to talk. Okay, that's what my button here is for. My switch. And then we have to put a 100 ohm dummy load. I do not have a 100 ohm dummy load, so I'm going to have to use two 50 ohm dummy loads in parallel to make 25 ohms, which should be approximately the same thing. So there's one dummy load over there. Okay, you can be quiet now. Okay, there's one over there. I'm going to need a T. Do I have a T? No. I need... Alright, I got to find a T for this thing or something like it. Let me figure this out. I'll be right back. Okay, here's what I came up with. I know they're not the right connectors, but this will be okay at these frequencies. Basically, BNC-T, adapter going into another. Okay, that'll work, I guess. Let's plug it into here. But that gives me 2-to-1 SWR, or supposedly, just like 100 ohm would, only, excuse me, dividing instead of multiplying. Alright, so I haven't I got to go through the 50 ohm first. Silly, okay. So, back here. Alright, so I'm on the 50 ohm, I'm on SWR set. And key. And it blinked. SWR2. Is it reasonably accurate anyway? Ugh. All right, that should be my 50 or 25 ohms, and set, and it's set. It says, cool. We'll find out. And take this conglomeration off of here. Okay. Alright. And that is the end of the meter stuff, because we're back up to TX. We're not going to do the receiver now, because I don't really think I even have to, because we'll check this thing and see what it sounds like. But we're going to get out of this and turn it back on again. And we're going to check and see what kind of power we've got. So, what can I stand this thing up on? That's something I really don't have. I want to be able to get it up here so you can see it. Well, how about you? Can you see that at all? Yeah, I guess. Okay. We're going to get rid of the meter, or the manual here for a minute. And we'll leave that up there. And we will... Okay, so we've got our 1500 hertz at 0.08 volts, 14100. Turn the compressor off, and I want to go to my mic gain. I want to be about, I usually run mine about 60%. And Vox, don't care. Power, let's do power at 50% to start with, which actually should be a 100 watt radio, should be about 50 watts. So let us see what it does. It's 26.8. So this is not accurate. So that's a as a percentage, that's pretty awful. Let's take it up to high power and see what it does. On high power, about 87.7. That's right. What in the world? Okay. The meter's going 100%, or darn near 100%, all the way up to the top. Now, if I turn... Oh, you can do it. All right, so where do we hit approximately 50 watts? Okay, well, this is interesting. This thing says 72%, but the output says 50 watts. Here, let me show you. Holding three things with one hand. Okay. If you watch your meter over here. Let's take power back up to a high. I'm at about 87 watts, at 90 watts, okay? I'm going to crank this guy down until we get to 50 watts, or 50%. approximately there. If you look at this meter, it says exactly 50. So let's, just for fun, let's take it down to 20. And what does this meter over here say? 17.5. That's about as good as you can get. But the percentage says 38%. Interesting. That's going to take a little bit of looking things up and a little bit of experimentation, I think. But for now, let's just leave this at 20 watts because I don't need to do too much. Okay. Alrighty. Get rid of this. Don't need this anymore for right now. And plug the microphone in. Yes, I know it's a Yaesu microphone. I rewired it for Kenwood a long time ago, and it doesn't do anything fancy. The up and down buttons don't work. Nothing works except key the mic and talk. All right. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And we can get rid of the function generator. Don't need to see that anymore. Okay. All right, turn you back on, and we're going to check and see what the SWR looks like. See if it's accurate-ish. So we got our 25 ohm load here, because there's a load built into here, and there's a load hanging up on the wall, and I got a little wire between them, and I got a conglomeration of connectors, but at this frequency, not that big of a deal. All right, so on our meter here, we've got, there is ALC, and there's SWR, okay? So if I key it now in 20 watts, wait a minute. Let's put it on AM so I can see, or no, let's put it on RIDI. There's RIDI. Okay. 2 to 1, or right darn near. It's real close. All right, so let's take this back off. Hook this back up. Come on, thank you. Alright, and let's do it again now into what I know is a good load. There we go. 1 to 1. About as good as you get. With 20 watts output, approximately 17.8. Okay. So, I will say, yay. The burnt to a crisp IC-718 is now functioning. Want to hear it? Well, I'm sure. Okay. We'll turn the radio up over here. I'm on 14,100. 1, 2. Whoops. That's RIDI. That won't work. Upper sideband. 1, 2. I need mic level. No, my gain's there. Oh, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Well, take the power up a little bit since I'm working on into dummy loads and out of dummy loads. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that sounds just fine to me. Of course, I'm getting a little bit of crap because they're too close to each other. But that sounds fine. That sounds good. Let's check the receive. Okay. And just for fun, let's do the receive on AM. let's see, if we start off, it's just easier to do on AM. All right, so we want about 50 microvolts, which is what we got right here. Should be about an S9. Told you this thing was right. Look at that. S9 right there, dead on. Okay. So, let's give it a little modulation so we can hear. Let's do it with 1K. It's easier to hear. Okay. Now, let us take this thing down. Let's see, that's 0.05 microvolts. Oh, I'm off frequency up here. Frequency 014100. Enter. 14100, 14100 on the generator. Let's turn off noise blanking. Okay. There's so many buttons. Alright, so we got what? 0.2 microvolts, giving it a little bit of audio. Don't really hear it. Oh yeah, I can. In the background back there. Let's crank it up a little. 0.3. I haven't got very much in the way. There we go. I had this turned down wrong. There we go. Alright, so we got absolutely no signal level at all. If you can see that, I mean none. I am at minus 117 dB, and I can hear it just fine. So, let's see. I'm going to set up for Synad. I know Synad's not exactly right on AM. It's supposed to be on FM, but we're going to call it that. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I got it set up here. What are we at? 0.6 microvolts, which would be about 112, minus 112 dB. And we go over here and look at the Synad. We're at, what? 11. There's 12 at 112 dB. Approximately. So we got a minus 12 Synad at 12 dB Synad at 111, 112, minus 112 dB. I'm happy. That's okay. I'll probably go through and give this thing a little tweak, but for coming out of the box and a burnt up piece of junk, flames and everything, I think that's pretty good. That's a good radio. Let's see what it sounds like here. Oh yeah. That's fine. So, oh, you want to hear it, huh? Okay. Well, let's see what it sounds like when I talk to it. Gotta hook my dummy load back up. Okay, so I got the dummy load hooked back up using my Yaesu FT840 upper sideband. Back to you. And way too much. Okay, 1, 2, 3, radio. Hello. WADK, I'm into a dummy load. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think that works fine. And I'm putting out about 1 watt out of the 840. So, I now have a modern to me HF radio. Fantastic. I love it. Now all I got to do is find all the rest of the screws that I lost over the past year and a half. Or go buy some new ones. Hey, there we go, guys. The end of the saga. The Icom IC-718 is done. It works. It transmits. It's as good as I could possibly expect for the zero that I originally paid for it. So, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell and comment on the bottom down there, and maybe even go to the website if you want to, aervblog.com. Till next time.